Let's bring the discussion back home now. I was trying to tell you the story of basketball in Nigeria, and lately it hasn't been good because when we talk about basketball, the leadership crisis pops up. The elections in June this year didn't really produce what basketball followers were expecting, but hey, it has been good on the court. The D Tigers, their current Afro-Basket women's champion, the D Tigers, they made it to the final but lost to host country Tunisia. So we're just asking questions. What if everything was okay? What if administration was top-notch? What if the leaders are actually doing the right things? Don't you think that, I mean, Africa will not come close when talking about basketball and when Nigeria is involved? That's very important. Well, let's rewind time. Tell you the story once again. June the 13th elections were done into the boards of the federations, sporting federations in Nigeria. Basketball at that time, one group had already gone to Kano before the June the 13th election and then produced its own president. June the 13th, another group produced another president. These pictures keep popping up. That's the venue for the election, the Abuja National Stadium. But empty seats for basketball. The delegates weren't there. And then those of us that were covering the election said, what's going on? Why are they not here? And then we were told, or we found out that they were having their own elections in an hotel. Anyway, fast forward, that election that they had in that hotel produced another president. The one from Kano produced Tijani Umar. The one done at the hotel in Abuja produced Musa Kida. But there were talks that one followed the guidelines from the Ministry for Youth and Sports. The NOC was present, and so they were ready to lead. But then a lot of talks back and forth started coming. Two presidents wanted to rule basketball, and then we didn't know what was going on. But FIBA now popped up. FIBA said, look, I'm the one in charge of world governing of basketball. Nigeria, we don't like the stories we're hearing about your country. Put your house in order. They wrote a letter, and they were clear. We said, look, we don't accept, we don't recognize, that's the language they use, any of the elections, either the one that was done in Kano or the one that was done in Abuja. But they were clear also that they were going to, correspond with the Musa Kida board. We're now being joined live on the program by the Secretary General of the Nigeria Olympic Committee. The Nigeria Olympic Committee requested for more time, and FIBA has just done that. Tunde Popola is the Secretary General, joins us now live on the show. Good evening, Secretary General. Welcome to Sports Tonight.
How are you, Austin?
Well, I'm super. We're hoping to have you in the studio. But let's talk about this second letter from FIBA. What's your understanding of it?
I think the letter is very, very clear. First and foremost, there have been so many letters written to FIBA from different parties. And I think such letters are, first of all, confusing. Some of them are not taking the facts, some of them are downright correct. But I think the important thing here is that FIBA really wants to come here to establish firsthand what really happened, what went down before these elections. And so I think that's what the letter is trying to say. And of course, they all also understand that some problems did not only start with this election. So they need to get a fact-finding mission and to get to the root of the matter as it were. Because basketball issue is not really today. And we must find a solution that will go further and better than what it is right now. To go deeper. That's what the meaning.
Why did the NOC request for an extension of the deadline? What is it that you really want to achieve?
Not that, sincerely, not that we really requested for an extension. We didn't, officially, we did not. But I thought that at a point in time, these two gentlemen involved may have, a change of mind, because time heals all wounds. And of course, from one indication, that wasn't to be. So we needed to go ahead and then see to it that things are done properly. And I think people want to respect the laws. They want to respect, the authenticity of what really went down. They need to see themselves and interview people and get to know the roots of the matter. I mean, like I said earlier on, this time is not that we go on to go straight to sanctions. No, we need to really understand the facts of the case. So I think their comment is it's good enough. It's good.
So, Secretary General, the FIBA has given us an extension till February the 28th, and that for me is a second chance. Now, what's our timeline for the next set of action to ensure that basketball gets back to proper administration?
No, as it is right now, when I say the status quo remains, what was in their letter, the first letter, is still what is operating as of this moment in time. And I think we will continue with that until that period. We were not given any rules to play now. We are not given any specific rules to play. It is just that they will come here, we will discuss with them, we will look at the issues, we will interview those successfully, and then get to the roots of the matter and solve once for all, the problems that have bedeviled basketball in years past. I think that's the issue. There is no timeline until they communicate with us that they are coming. Then we'll set up a timeline or maybe a plan of action to resolve this matter.
Okay, Secretary General, you just stay right there. Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We're speaking to Tunde Popola, he's the Secretary General of the Nigeria Olympic Committee. We'll get back to him. Let's go on this quick break. Don't go anywhere. Stay. Welcome back. It's Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We're taking a look at the Nigeria Basketball Federation and its leadership crisis because, FIBA has just written a second letter to Nigeria saying we've extended your time to February the 28th, get everything right so that basketball in Nigeria can have some peace. Tunde Popola is the Secretary General of the Nigeria Olympic Committee. He's speaking to us. Let's get back to the discussion now. Secretary General, let's revisit the issue because to solve a problem, we must first identify it. The NOC recognized the Musa Kida election. The Federal Ministry for Youth and Sport inaugurated the Musa Kida board. Why are we still having problems if you guys have said this is the basketball board that should be in charge?
Well, let me say the truth. Let me say the hard part of this matter is that in the first instance, if we have to put it straightforward and for people to understand it, we do not think, and we do not even really believe there was another election after the one we conducted. If there was, yes, we would have been officially told, but we got this information from FIBA, and that was very clear. There was another election. And then, of course, in our own country, we also need to put our ears on the ground. The fact remains that we cannot pretend, that's why we're engaging in this kind of conversation. We cannot pretend that all is well in a federation. If there are issues that need to be resolved, we will stand up to resolve the issue. As it were, we did an election, we conducted that election. And of course, whoever came out is the person that we recognize. And as of this moment, as you speak, it's Musa Kida. There's also been given a letter to that effect. Now, seeing now that there's another crisis, which of course was brought up by FIBA itself, well, we cannot also pretend. We need to ensure that the issue in basketball federation is resolved. And I must tell a lot of people here, if you must tell ourselves the truth, that the issues in basketball federation did not start today. And there are a lot of lies, there are a lot of untruths, and there are a lot of matters that has not been discussed or openly given out to us or to the public, by people in basketball, by the stakeholders in basketball. I think it is an issue that has to deal with sports. It has to deal with basketball as a sport. I don't think we should need to take this long before that problem is resolved. So we all need to come out and say the truth. So feedback coming now is a very, very good, as far as I'm concerned, is good enough for them to see firsthand what went down and where the truth is. So that is exactly why I think their visiting is very clear. They will contact us. When they come, we will set the stage for a fuller discussion with the stakeholders. So that's the way it is. That's the way it is.
FIBA has said they will be around March the 10th. Mr. Tunde Popola, is there nothing that the NOC, or the Ministry for Youth and Sports, and these other administrators of basketball in Nigeria, is there nothing we can do to move basketball forward?
Obviously, if you're looking at this issue from that point of view, I think the actors, I'm talking about the Musa Kida and Tijani Umar, they need to come to terms with us on ground. That's the first thing. It's not as if we have to put different camps in the sport. This shouldn't be. It should not happen. So I think one has to really look at this issue positively and then discuss among themselves, because that's what we try to do at Abuja. And since they did not come to terms, well, we have our own position. Our position has not changed. It has not shifted. It is still that Musa Kida is still the person we recognize as far as we are concerned. Well, they need to come to terms, discuss the issue, and then agree, on a common point. If this is the interest of basketball, so that's what we think. Because right now, calling people together, calling stakeholders, calling the meeting, but I think if we have to do that, it will be that we are admitting that what we did was absolutely wrong. But don't let anybody forget that before we started this issue, it's not a 3.5 years matter. We're asking people to draw up their constitutions, get it ratified, and so that we can use it for this election. What happened with that period? Why delay up to this point? When we had to even fight down the issue of the guidelines, and we said we do not agree with the guidelines. And the presidents and so agreed that, okay, we had to cut down the guidelines, and we came back with an agreed position. So why would anyone decide to go out of it? And as a matter of fact, if a lot of people don't know, we wrote as an NOC, we said, and made it very clear, and the minister also agreed in a letter to them that, look, four federations must, if they have the proper constitution in place, they should do the election with the use of the constitution.
That's right.
And of course, it was not agreed. So what do we have? At the end of the day, nothing really came out, from basketball in particular on this issue of constitution. No information was given to us that we are going to hold the election in Kano, and that's a matter of fact. But the letter was presented only in the meeting with them, and the letter, I will not see where it was signed for or anything, but I, as a person, normally like to believe people. I want to believe that we should use constitution to run the elections. Yeah. But if that is not possible, the only other option is to use the agreed constitution signed by the NOC and, of course, the ministry and not the president. So that's where it is. We should just abide the word of God. It is not a personal issue. It's not like every matter.